when we first came here in 2017, something that we recognized was the only place really to stay in Joshua Tree was these tiny hotels. There wasn't really any inventory out here. You know, it was like the Travel Lodge or the Motel 6.
What really stood out to us was, like, where are the brands? Where's the proper Soho House? Where is the Hoxton in this space? So we set out to build it. I'm Ramin Savar.
I'm Michael Savarsky.
And we're the co-founders of Fieldtrip.
I've always been a hotel and design junkie. Even from a young age, I remember being 6 or 7 and going to Vegas with my family. And I just had so much energy running from hotel to hotel. And I picked up on these nuances. Like I walked into the Bellagio and there was this specific scent. And I realized that someone had created that. I went to the Venetian and all of a sudden I was transported to Europe. And it was this amazing feeling. You know, at the time I didn't really know how to define it because I was so young. But that really carried through into my adulthood as well. During college, when everyone was hanging out on campus, I was out in LA exploring all the cool new hotels and restaurants. When I travel, obviously I enjoy museums and monuments, but to me the things that are most memorable are the hotels and the new experiences that I get. You know, I remember wandering through the lobbies, looking at interior design, looking at the flow, looking at the service. I'd go into the bathrooms and I'd look at the hand towels and see if they have the logo on them and see how thick they are. So these are all things that I was always passionate about. And I think something that helped us take the leap, or at least in my case, was I was able to, for the first time, really put that into the world in my own way.
I have always been a real estate nerd. I got my real estate license when I was 18. I worked at a commercial real estate brokerage all throughout college. And even as an attorney, I love the deals. I was really interested in the details of some of these transactions.
Ramin and I met freshman year at UCLA, actually the second day of school. We've been friends ever since. After school, we went very different paths. After I graduated, I had a very interesting career. I started in investment banking at UBS, a very grizzled and hardcore, finance shop. I learned a lot in those 2 years. After that, I wanted to get into something more creative, which led me to Beats by Dre and Apple. I worked in the strategy and corporate development team. What was interesting about that role is both of those brands were at the zeitgeist of culture, and I got to be close to both product and design, which I really loved. And then after that, I was really interested in getting into investing. I heard that the band Linkin Park, the rock band, was forming a venture fund. So I joined to help build Machine Shop Ventures, which was an amazing experience. I actually got to tour with them when they would travel and perform around the world. I would set up business meetings and meet with startups.
Sadly, my career path is nowhere as exciting as Michael's. I didn't get to tour with the band Linkin Park. I did go to law school. I was recruited by a big law firm, and I spent just over 5 years working on some of the biggest hospitality and real estate private equity deals in the world. We both love business. We were co-presidents of the UCLA Real Estate Society, partnered on all kinds of silly side hustles. We always thought we'd start a company. At least that was kind of the dream. But I don't think we ever dreamed that we would get to do it together, so that's a blessing.
In 2017, I got a call from my childhood friend, Josh, who's now the other co-founder in Fieldtrip, and he said, "Hey, I need to sit down and show you something." He had just moved back from New York. He was there for the last 7 years working in a short-term rental business that he started. He was early to the Airbnb game there. He came back to pursue a strategy in the Southern California desert in the Coachella area. And he said, "I need to show you this." And he showed me a house that he had bought for $500,000 that was doing $200,000 in revenue. And my mind was blown. I started looking closer with him, and I immediately called Ramin.
Before long, Mike, Josh, and I had like an entire business on the side. We had employees, and it was turning into a real operation. It started to expand from nights and weekends to kind of consuming a lot of our waking hours on top of our, normal jobs. When we first got started, we were buying these like $500,000-$600,000 homes, doing the bare minimum. A basic facelift on the house, and then Mike, our resident interior designer at the time, would furnish these homes reasonably well, and the home would just do exceptionally well. But we came to realize at some point that Joshua Tree is the desert. There's endless land and endless capital over in LA. We started to invite some of our investor friends, some private equity funds that we knew, some lenders down to the desert to show them the opportunity. And their minds were blown by the numbers, but they couldn't really wrap their head around the business model. They felt like the space was very untouched. It was just a bit early. Above all, they couldn't fit it in a box, right? We had seen the data. Our developer partner, Dan, he's an experienced custom home builder. He saw this. We began to really see the value in the next phase of our sort of evolution, which was purpose-built vacation homes.
I miss that sexy smile, looking forward to see you. I hope I will lose control.
Don't swim against the current. Start with a true blank canvas, find a piece of dirt that you like, and then build a true hospitality asset.
Our thesis was these homes could look and feel like a hotel if they were outfitted correctly. We brought in this banquette from Vegas. We imported chandeliers from Canada. We brought in these huge, 1,000-pound vases and craned in big cactuses to create Instagrammable moments. And the end result was a house that felt like a hotel. When you enter the lobby of that home, you feel like you're in a hotel lobby. And I think to this day, nothing like it exists. Our brand from day one was very important to us. We really wanted to get it right. When we came across the name Fieldtrip, it just fit and it felt so perfect. Everyone can remember when they were in elementary school. A field trip was an escape from the mundane. You got to leave class with your friends, go on an adventure. It was just like an electric experience that everyone had a fond memory of. That's exactly what we want to portray with our homes and our properties and our experiences. We have these brands that we look up to, the Soho Houses, the Hoxtons, the Edition Hotels, the Proper. So we had that vision for the design ethos, and we knew what kind of amenities, what bedroom count, what kind of experience guests wanted based on our early work in Coachella and our early homes in Joshua Tree.
The issue with brand in the short-term rental space, and the reason it's so hard to nail it, is because in our space, the brand is the homes. The homes are the product. So unless you have a very consistent theme or design thesis across your portfolio, it's going to be hard to have a brand.
For designers in the hotel world, they're used to big projects and big budgets. To ask them to come out to Joshua Tree to help us outfit and furnish, these single-family homes, it was no small feat. We really had to sell them on our vision. And in many cases, like the designer that we work with, we brought him out here and we showed him what we wanted to accomplish together. He became so excited and invigorated by, the fact that there's no rules. And he was really pushing the bounds of what you could do with a single family home and bring it into the hotel world. It's not just interior design, but experience design. So every home we have, whether it's one that we acquired, rehabbed, managed, or purpose-built, we always want to create moments, these special moments. And it can be framing a view, it can be a really unique chandelier, but it's the same type of feeling you have when you step into a hotel lobby and you have that wow. And we need those at every property.
Joshua Tree is an incredible market. It's where we got our start, but it's also one of the most competitive short-term rental markets in the country by really any measure. This is not 2021 anymore. You need to invest in paid marketing, you need to invest in social, you might want to consider an influencer strategy. We have really invested heavily in marketing. You really have to actively get these homes in front of the customer. You have to create a reason for them to stop and pick your house amongst the hundreds of options on Airbnb when they're scrolling.
A lot of people in the industry, when we first got started, told us it was a waste of time. It was expensive, but we did it anyway, even when we didn't have the money. Same goes for social media. When we first started, everyone in the industry we came across said, "You guys are crazy. You're gonna waste your time, you're gonna waste your money. You can't have a brand that lives on social media. Maybe an individual house, but otherwise it's a waste of time." And we didn't listen. We doubled down, we spent a lot of time on it. We invested in relationships, we invested in content creators, we invested in these moments that I talk about, and it has paid dividends.
We built the management company in large part to be able to deliver on our promise to our investors. Our investors are thinking, look, we're giving you a bunch of money to go buy and build these homes. We want you guys looking after the assets. So we almost built the management company as a necessity, to take care of our own assets. But with the success that we had came a lot of inbound interest. At first, we ignored a lot of this inbound. We didn't really know a lot about true third-party management. And then we began this conversation with Chris Hanley, Hollywood legend, a prolific producer, and the visionary behind the Invisible House. He gives us the opportunity to partner with him to operate the Invisible House, which is without question the most famous Airbnb in the world.
You've been waiting up all night.
Very early on, we invested heavily in having an office in Joshua Tree. We have offices in Century City in LA and in Joshua Tree. We wanted our office here to be a representation of the brand. We designed it like we do our homes. We used our hotel interior designer. We bought local artifacts to furnish it. And it's really a place that our team can come and work, where we can come and work, where we can meet prospective clients now, where we can meet investors. And it really embodies the Fieldtrip brand.
Over the last 5 years, the industry has really matured. It's awesome to see the level of curation, of design, of amenities, service in the industry. It's night and day from what it was 5 years ago.
In the past, a 5-star hotel was luxury. To the modern traveler, experience is luxury. And that ranges from the amenities to the location of the homes. Our consumers are okay driving down a dirt road, even if they're in, a low Porsche, because once they get there, they feel like they're in the national park. And that to us is the new definition of luxury. As the world becomes more and more digital, we have, new advances in AI, and who knows exactly where the world's going to be in 2 to 5 years. We're very bullish on physical experiences, places that people can get away with friends and experience new things in that community of humans being together.
Our ambition has always been the same, which is to build one of the best luxury boutiques in the space.
Fieldtrip is a luxury lifestyle brand in the short-term rental space. We recognize that these brands exist in the hotel world, and we wanted to bring that into the short-term rental industry.